So what is up, you all? Today I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, getting ready to go inside one of the most insane arcade slash Airbnbs that I think I've ever possibly heard of. So I think it might be the only one in existence as well. Pretty sure. But yeah, so I am here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina today, getting ready to go inside the Wieners and Losers arcade slash Airbnb. So this should be pretty freaking awesome. I've seen pictures and videos online of this place, but I've never seen it in person. I've had this booked for about a month in advance, and I'm getting ready to go and meet Scott, the owner of the arcade slash Airbnb. So yeah, today's gonna be freaking awesome, full of retro vintage goodness. So hope you all are ready. If you love retro vintage gaming, classic arcades, Airbnb, stuff like that, then this is the video for you. So sit back, relax, and I hope you all enjoy. Without further ado, let's get this video started.
Okay, come on in.
All right, let's do it.
So,
Wow.
this is a 28-year collection, the largest private collection on the East Coast of working golden age 80s arcade games. That being games from the 70s to 1984. The popular titles are here. A lot of uncommon games are here. There are 6 games here. There's less than 10 of in the world. So we just run the gambit of everything. But this is what people refer to as, they call this arcade Wieners and Losers. We open one Saturday a month. We have a little kitchen. We serve hot dogs. We just do that for fun. But yeah, this is the arcade. You want me to show you around?
Yeah, how many arcades do you have in here?
Right now there's 136 machines.
Wow.
And counting. So, you know, you've got popular games like Centipede. And then probably the most rare game here is this game called Levers. This is the only one in the world.
Wow.
But it goes on and on and on.
Astro Blaster, wow.
Yeah, if you see something you recognize and you want me to speak on it, just let me know. Moon
Okay.
Patrol, popular. Phoenix, well-known game.
What's the oldest one you have in here?
Well, you know, it's not on the floor right now, but Computer Space is here. That's the first commercially available video game in history from 1971. It is here, it's just not on the floor right now because it has an issue, but it'll be back on the floor soon.
Yeah, Berserk. I do remember Berserk.
Berserk,
Yeah.
yeah. Good old Berserk.
Yeah, this one was fun.
Yeah.
Now, do you restore these? Do you get some of these that aren't working? Do you restore them, repair them, stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, bringing them back to life is fun. That's part of the thrill for me, to see something come to life again after 40 plus years. That's a lot of fun. I love doing that. So, yeah, you know, most of these were non-working games when I got them. It's a lot of stuff.
And so you said the arcade is open one Saturday a month?
One Saturday a month.
Now, the Airbnb is continuous,
Yes,
right?
that's anytime you want to book it, it's there. So when you book the Airbnb, you get a 3-hour block in the arcade. Of course, you get the room and all that good stuff. But so there's more rooms. It goes this way. I turned a couple off between groups. Sorry about that. So they made a Cloak and Dagger video game for the Atari 5200, but it never got released. But that was a tie-in with the movie, as is that game was. Of course, the game's in the movie. If you watch the movie, you'll see that game. Now this is the last room.
And so, how long have you been collecting all these again?
28 years.
28 years. Wow. Wow.
So this is the Airbnb, and when you stay here, There's an 80s stereo stocked with 80s vinyl. There's a VHS library. And you have access to every game console ever made, from the beginning to CD platforms. Those cats are not included. They don't typically come in here. They're being bad. But that's it. Every little gadget works. Anything you touch will work. And it's all 80s all the time here.
So how would they book this Airbnb?
Yes, if you go to longlivethe80s.com,
okay,
there's a direct link there. That's our website.
And I'll put that in the description below as well.
Okay.
As well to your Instagram as well, right? You have one of those?
Yes, it's at Wieners and Losers.
Okay.
So is our Facebook is /Wieners and Losers. And outside of that, now we have an 80s arcade game show on YouTube where we give away actual vintage 80s arcade games as grand prizes.
Wow.
That's a new thing that we've just started. And that's called Arcade Animals.
And so when they book the Airbnb, do they get access to the arcade as well?
Yes. When you book the Airbnb, you get a 3-hour block in the arcade. And that's the equivalent of a private party. So it's sort of like a private party, and then you spend the night.
But do they get access to it during the night, or is it just like a specific part of the day?
It's a specific time. When they arrive, we'll figure that out. Hey, I want the arcade from, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, whatever. And I'll make that happen. But this is theirs all the time. And this will keep you busy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the SNES alone would keep me busy for a long time. Oh, yeah. So you can pretty much just take any game off the shelf over here and just hook it up over here and just start playing, right?
Yeah, what I do is I tell people, text me, let me know what you want. I'll come in here, I'll connect it for you. I'll make sure you got all the games you want for that console. And we have a mountain of games for every console. So there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, this is so amazing. Just everywhere you walk, just more arcade games everywhere. We got Dog Patch here, Slither. You got Pac-Man up here. Wow. Satan's Hollow. Elevator Action. Boot Hill. I have never played this before. Yeah, so he says the arcade is open one Saturday a month. So you do have to book a time if you want to come in here. But the Airbnb is open pretty much all the time. But you still have to make a reservation for the Airbnb.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Charge the humanoid.
I mean, where have you seen an LED pinball machine? Look at that. amazing right there. That is cool. Got some VHSs over here. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Stand By Me. Very good movie. Of course, Rocky, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Classics in here. And I got Back to the Future. Roadhouse. I've seen the new one. Not a huge fan of the new one, but can never really outdo a classic. And you got Halloween right here. Ghostbusters. You got some really good movies in there. And then over here, when you come up here and you stay, you actually get this right here, and it talks about the Wi-Fi name and password. It says feel free to play vinyl, handheld games, console games. Please text if you would like a different game console connected. VHS, DVDs are in the cabinet next to the TV. Coffee maker in the kitchen. And if you have like issues, you can always text. Here's a number right here. I believe that might be Scott's number directly. And talks about some local restaurants in the area if you want to go out to eat. So yeah, pretty cool. Get all the information you need right here when you come up here and you stay in the Airbnb. Got another cat over here. Just look how cute this cat is. Just over here snoozing. So, what got you started into collecting these arcades and stuff and wanting to turn this into an Airbnb?
Well, I'm an 80s kid, and I was seduced by the arcades when I was a kid, and it just stayed with me through adulthood. I bought my first game in 1996, which was Frogger, and at that time, these games were really cheap, and I just bought a lot of stuff, put it in storage, taught myself to work on them, and because I wanted a man cave, and that was all. Well, eventually, there was about 50 games here, and some friends and I were sitting around, and we just happened to think, well, what if people want to come in and play, and I'll use that money to restore all these other games I've got in storage, try to bring them back to life. And that's kind of how Wieners and Losers started. The Airbnb happened about 7 years later, and that was really just an organic thing where my wife and I will stay in Airbnbs from time to time. And we were just in an Airbnb, and I thought, we could do this, make it 80s themed. I've already got everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have every game console that ever was ever made.
I was actually looking. I said in the video that I think the only thing that I didn't see in here was a Game Boy.
Yeah, well, it's here.
Oh, it is?
If
Okay.
somebody asked for it, it's here. I just couldn't fit everything on that wall.
Right.
But that's just about everything. And like that stereo was the first thing I bought with my own money when I was 14. So a lot of this stuff we already had. So I put this together in one day. In one day,
Wow.
I had all of this together. Of course, I had to order a couple of things, but nothing major, and that was it. And so that was in November of 2021. I was trying to figure out, well, how do we get the word out outside of just the Airbnb app? And somebody came and did a video, and that video went viral on TikTok. It got over 7 million views, and then and it just exploded. I was booked 24/7 for a year and a half, and people were coming from Europe, Australia, South America, Canada, all over the world. And then I realized, okay, so apparently nowhere in the world can you stay in an 80s themed room, have access to every game console ever made, and an
A
arcade
full-fledged
this massive.
arcade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus an arcade that massive. All of that in one. It just doesn't exist. So, you know, I was naive about it, but it all worked out, and it's going well, and it's a lot of fun. It makes
So
a lot
the
of people happy.
so the money that you make from like the Airbnb and stuff goes to like restoring the arcade games and stuff like that, purchasing
Yes.
more.
Yes, I have a job. I can pay my own bills. Everything that comes in through the arcade stays in the arcade, goes back into the arcade, for parts, restoration, just the general upkeep of the arcade. So, because it's a passion project.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's it.
So where do you usually get a lot of these arcade games from? Because like it's
Well,
pretty hard to find a lot of these retro arcades and stuff a
they're
lot
hard
now.
to find now,
Yeah.
but when I started in 1996, nobody wanted this stuff. It was junk. I mean, I could buy games for $25 a pop all day. It was ridiculous now when you think about it. But from 1996 to 2006, nobody really wanted this stuff. So it was like garage sales, trade papers, then it became eBay, then it became Craigslist, and now I guess it's Facebook Marketplace. But nowadays, I really just buy from private collectors. If somebody puts something up for sale, if I don't have it and I find it interesting, I'll buy it and have it shipped here. Because, I have so much, it's very hard for me to find something in the wild at this point. And so that's it.
So do you go to gaming conventions and get any kind of retro vintage games?
I've been to some gaming conventions, but really just like everybody else, just as a spectator. I don't typically really buy anything there.
So you would say now that people love coming here because the retro eras kind of making a comeback again nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, it's been making a comeback for a while now. I'll say this, in 2014, when we launched Wieners and Losers, barcades didn't exist. Not on the East Coast. There were a handful that I know of on the West Coast, but that just wasn't a thing. Certainly within the last 10 years, the whole 80s retro thing has really exploded.
Mm-hmm.
When barcades became a thing, I was thinking, I need to go here. I need to go check this place out. But I would never get around to it because I'm so busy here. And then one day somebody said to me, why would you ever go to a barcade with what you have?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And I was like, thank you for saying that, because now I don't feel pressure to go.
Yeah, I mean, what you have here, I think any 70s, 80s, even early 90s kid would just go crazy bananas over.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's...
Because we really have everything. Let's just say you want Sega Dreamcast, or Panasonic 3DO, Atari Jaguar. I mean, all the way up to PS2, we've got everything.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of games for those consoles. I collected console games before I got into that. The arcade downstairs.
So what was your first ever console game?
Atari 2600 I had when we were a kid, my brother and I, and we wore it out. And then the crash happened, and all of a sudden you could get games for 50 cents. And we just bought and bought, as much as we could. And then when I got my license, got a little older, we started going to flea markets and buying all these vintage consoles, because we wanted to experiment with the things we never got to play. Because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. We just had an Atari 2600, but we wanted to play Commodore, ColecoVision, and all these other consoles we'd heard about, never got to experience. So at one point I had over 100 Atari 2600s. I mean, I had this stuff just coming out of my ears, and then my brother was one of the first people to make a homebrew for the Atari 2600. And for people at home, that's a new game for an old console. He made a new game for the Atari 2600 in like the, 2000, well, no, this was like late 90s. But at that time, they started having these conventions, one in Las Vegas and one in Philadelphia, these retro conventions. And the 80s started to slowly get popular again. And so I mass-produced his game, and we sold his game, and I bundled all those consoles that I had bought through the years and took them to these shows and sold them. And I'd take all that money and I would go to the different vendors and buy games I didn't have. And that's why we have so many console games for all these consoles over here. Just thousands and thousands of games here.
So you say that you're very busy now?
Very busy.
Very busy.
Between Wieners and Losers, private parties, and the Airbnb, this is a full-time job. I have another full-time job, so I work 2 full-time jobs. But this makes people happy, and it makes me happy.
Made me happy today.
Well, good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and nobody in their right mind would do this. But I'm not in my right mind.
That's a good
I've
answer.
come to that conclusion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's working, so...
It is working.
Yeah.
And it really makes people so happy. People come in, their eyes bug out, and their jaws drop. And
Yeah, like I've seen this place on other YouTube videos, but until you actually come here in person, I mean, videos do not do this place justice at all.
that's true.
When you come here in person, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's just insanely massive down there, Even this up here is just crazy awesome, so...
Yeah, it's a lot. and that's true.
So that's going to do it for today's video here at the Wieners and Losers Arcade / Airbnb in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I gotta say, this place is beyond amazing. I've seen it in pictures and videos online, but until you come here in person and see it with your own 2 eyes, it does not do it justice whatsoever. This place is beyond amazing, freaking insane, massive, full of retro and vintage goodness. So if you're born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, you will love this place and you need to pay this place a visit. Like Scott said, he has had people come from all over the world to come over here and visit this place, stay here at the Airbnb. So this place is no joke. It is amazing. So if you want to book a night here at the Airbnb, you can do that in the website link below that I'll put in the description, longliveth80s.com. Book a night, book 2, book 3. But I can see why he's always busy. He is a very nice guy, very humble host, and he will make you feel right at home. Very, very awesome guy. So again, thank you to Scott for allowing me to come out here and visit, film. It was an amazing day, and I will be back. I will come back here and book a night here at the Airbnb because I want to be able to have free reign, kind of walk around, be able to chill, play some more video games, order a pizza, and just kind of relive my 90s childhood again. That's what this place will do for you. You come back here and it kind of just takes you back to when you were a kid. And that's what I love about this place. So yeah, Scott, thank you again so much. He has gone above and beyond, outdone himself here, been collecting for over 30 years. And you can definitely tell that he has put his heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into his passion project. So yeah, what an amazing place. I loved it. I will be back, and I hope you all enjoyed. So if you could, hit that like button, also subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. That way you will be in the loop for future videos that I upload here on this channel. Ones like this, awesome videos like this, retro and vintage goodness. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Go ahead and get out of here. What an amazing day. I've had this place booked for about a month. Been itching and itching to get out here, meet Scott, see this place, and just have some fun. And I did that today, and it was amazing. So again, shout out to Scott. Wieners and Losers, pay to visit. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. So thank you all for watching. Take care. I will see you all in the next one. Until then, stay nerdy, and I'll see you all then.